For real, like, honestly, you guys are legendary.
Nice to meet
I love your
you.
website.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. So that goes way back to our early days. And
Now when you buy it,
It's huge, and I love the color choice. And mostly, I just love that you did an original mask. That's what I love, that you just did an original mask. This is crazy.
as you can tell, I already have it.
I'll see you guys soon.
Absolutely. We'll see. You're like, oh, shit.
What would you say is the most challenging sculpture you have here?
Probably the face hugger, just because there are so many angles that look different in the movie and from stills and all that. It took a long time to get it to the point where I was happy with it.
And did you just have a workshop for painting that, or is that coming?
No, that's coming up. In fact, we're going to have actress Veronica Cartwright from the original film there to talk to the students about her experience.
so look what this guy's got. Do you remember that?
Of course I do.
That's the ad that started the company, right there.
Yeah, I remember it very well. I was 13.
Wasn't that a special copy?
I think so. My favorite part is are now available to the public. To me, that is a stroke. That's a stroke of genius. From Outer Worlds, the Bizarre, from Distortions Unlimited.
Right.
These masks, these dynamic top quality masks and others are now available to the public, bringing a new dimension to full overhead masks.
I sought it out online after I found out, that was the one that started everything, so I had to get it signed.
That's wild.
It is.
That's a wild story, right? First ad. That's
One of the
cool.
things that was so dynamic about Cretan and Creme is very stylized anatomy, and it all worked because it was so geometrical and there was so much character.
This one specifically, I was like channeling the colorways of like Toxic Crusaders from like early 90s cartoon stuff from my childhood that I loved. So, but this is for a local restaurant bar called the Crow's Nest, but I haven't even showed them it yet. I just wanted to like bring it out and kind of show it off because I feel like sometimes I just have a scribble in a sketchbook. I don't go too in depth, but like I feel like a little thumbnail or some doodles, and then I go from there. I try to keep it loose, and that way, like the sculpting process, I can make a lot of decisions on the fly.
There's no one inspiration. It could be somebody walking down the street. It could be a movie I saw. It could be a book I read. It could be, somebody else's artwork that makes me think of something. This guy was inspired by a sketch that Chet Zar did of a guy with 3 eyes, and I was like, oh, that would be a great clown, and I just took it away. Somebody told me once that I was a twisted Norman Rockwell, and I thought that was the greatest compliment I could ever receive, because Norman Rockwell is probably my biggest influence, and the reason he's my biggest influence was because every character he drew, you knew the story just by looking at the way he was smiling, the way he was dressed, the gesture he was doing in his painting, all of that. You knew his story. And so that's what I'm always trying to do, tell a story. If the character tells a story at a glance, that's good character. So it's like right off the bat, you know, or have a good idea of what his story is.
I would check with somebody that knows more about that.
What inspires some of these designs?
My grandfather had me watching horror movies as a kid. So you have this 6-year-old little girl and he's trying to get her to watch The Thing. So, from a very early age, I've been obsessed with monsters, and my method is seeing shapes in clouds. So I'll throw a bunch of clay on, I'll start seeing a form, and instead of fighting with it, I work with it. So that's kind of my process. I can't tell you how this stuff happens, it just does. It all just lives up here and comes out through clay. But it's a good time.
And then the strap goes up around the back. And then down gently. There you go.
Now look over here like, what do you think? Is it good?
It's good.
It's great.
What do we have? Oh, I remember this from last year. You told me about this one.
Yep. It's painted on the inside. Has leather strips or leather stitching.
I sculpt out of Chavant soft clay, which is an oil-based clay. I don't use wet clay, the water-based, because I'm a notoriously slow sculptor. So if I sculpt with wet, I got to sculpt way faster because it dries out. So I'll use the Chavant, it doesn't dry out. Like Michael Jackson's Thriller, I don't know if you remember this, was the first time they made a making of doc.
He did the eyes
and
right
showed
here,
Rick
like
Baker
really
making all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's what I am. I want to do that. I want to be that.
I retired from the military about 5 years ago, and I've needed something to kind of get into, like a hobby, to kind of fill that void, and then ended up getting another job, and I do it as a hobby now on the side. And once I got started, I couldn't stop. I just got addicted to it. And so I started watching, ironically, the folks in this room on YouTube and stuff, learning how to sculpt and watching what they do. Sculptor Die over there, I watched stuff that he done a lot. A new kind of Fear Studios, I watched a little bit. Obviously, Distortions, Unlimited, they have a lot of videos out there to watch. Stan Winston School, you can sign up for classes and do it that way as well. So just a little bit of everybody, wherever I can find it. They're all amazing.
What are some of your big inspirations for?
This show is probably a very big one. I've been coming every year since I was like 22. So I only had like one little itty bitty mask on my table, but still came, still had a great time, still met a lot of amazing people. And the show's amazing. Every year it's better and better. So.
Do you do the hair work and do different things?
I do, yeah. I did everything. The hair work, the eyes, the clothing, the paint, top to bottom, every single one. And I'm very much like I want no matter what angle you look at, I want you to be able to have, it's like a seamless illusion, you know what I mean? So he has a whole other side on his back, you know?
For this year, so I got R.L. Stein down here, which is a silicone, wearable silicone mask, or you can display it as a bust. And I got the Magician here, silicone bust. This is famous monster from Filmland #2, issue #2, the Cover Boy, Devil Man. But he's silicone too, you know. I think he's got it.
So what got you into sculpting and monster making?
My grandmother. Yeah, she was a sculptor, and I would just sit and watch her. Like in the morning, she would get up and sculpt, and I would just sit and watch her, mesmerized. Then at night, she would watch like Italian horror movies, and I would hide behind her chair and watch them too.
This is from Vault of Fear. So we have all three from EC Comics. So these are masks that he always wanted to have as a kid. He started a haunted house when he was only 13 years old. He built it all himself, and he donated all of the funds to Toys for Tots. So that started his love of horror, and he wanted to see these masks that he never got a chance to get come to life.
Throwing around some clay, honestly, and then the dreads, listening to a lot of Slipknot while I was making it, and I was like, oh, well, now I gotta add some hair, so, but yeah, that was about it.
For this year?
These ones are mine. My name's Reed Caesar. These are my masks, and then along with these little guys here. For this year, I brought this out, the Season of the Witch variant. Yeah. I try to go all out with the detail, with eyelashes, eyebrows, mole hairs. The same thing with on her. I'm just a sucker for that type of stuff. Anything I can do to bring it to life, you know. Yeah, there's a thing.
This is a limited edition Halloween color scheme.
Okay. So this one and those eyes.
Shirt. And then you can walk around with it. Yeah. Renaissance fairs, office parties.
So this is something I wanted to do as a kid, and then I tried to have a real career, and then finally just gave in and doing what I love.
And what inspires this type of work?
It's kind of just whatever spurring me at the moment. Lately, I'm really into fantasy, so like D&D. A lot of them are just like fantasy characters or like childhood fears. You know.
What's a childhood fear?
The girl with the green ribbon. I don't know if you ever read that story. Scary stories to tell in the dark.
It's like quite the project here, right?
It took quite a while, yeah. I was wrestling him around for the past few weeks trying to get him finished up. Like pretty much all my inspirations grew from all the cartoons that I watched growing up, like Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, all that, mixed with all the 80s horror movies that I was watching at the time. So they all kind of just collided, and this is what you get with it. Yeah, we love doing, you know, little different nods on the ends of each of our masks here, just to make them a little different.
You know, I love Famous Monsters of Filmland, the magazine. I mean, I met Forrest J. Ackerman 25 years ago. Cover, I literally like copied even the number of the issue and the year and the price. Everybody's stopping by to look at Mrs. Voorhees right here. Miss Jason's mother from the original Friday the 13th from 1980, which I saw when I was 12 years old in the theaters. And I like to do likenesses because they're a challenge.
I remember you from last year.
Yeah, last year was my first. I didn't have them here last year, but kind of going with our Monsters of Rock theme for the year. This is a prototype mask I made for Megadeth in 2022.
How did they find your company and the fact that you make work like this?
I think a lot of it was just the power of social media and constantly posting my work and getting exposure through doing shows like this and just networking with different industry professionals. This guy was based off of a music video, more so just a passion project of something I wanted to make that was based off of an old school Korn music video from their song Right Now. I just thought it was a classic character, and I like to challenge myself with more cartoony, whimsical designs, see how they would look in 3D.
So music inspires a lot of your work.
I'm a big music guy, for sure. Big music guy.
It's based off this comic it's called Zurt and Raw. It's like Batman's evil counterpart that's in Batman's mind. It's like an alien being thing. There's different iterations of it. Right here I have Gonzorkian. This is like a bull terrier werewolf. Yeah, this piece is just one of my favorites. I mean, the side profile, it's so killer. And my dad's paintwork on this just really
community started watching Casey Love's tutorials on YouTube about painting, and I got so much information and knowledge from that and started kind of expanding with my own style, my own flair. So I spent a lot of time within the last year leveling up my painting. What I realized and what I've heard from multiple phenomenal artists is that you get out of it what you put into it.
Right here we have Goofy. We did this one at the beginning of this year. And right here we have a mask by Jose Claudio from Funhouse Masks. He just killed it with this piece. I really love this hood that we put on here. And then right here, the last mask is called Schnog. So yeah.
So how many years now making masks?
I have been making masks for around 7 years. I'm 17 now, but I've been doing it since I was 10. I really love doing this. It's my dream to be in the film industry for sure.
This is the first copy out of the master mold. He's supposed to be like my logo, so it's the Monster Skull Studios. And this one was new last year, kind of from the Richard Corbin poster of Spookies.
What are some of your inspirations?
Well, definitely Distortions. They're absolutely my favorite mask company, always have been. So Ed's a huge inspiration, always has been. So how I first started learning how to do stuff too was just watching his videos online and getting really into it.
Apart from Ed, Don Post Studios, and then Vern Langdon, who obviously kind of, inspired this mask that Justin sculpted. This is kind of like if Don Post Studios had put out like an 800 line version of that mask, so it's kind of just like an homage, tribute, kind of mask. And then now I work for Trick or Treat Studios full time, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I help Justin with the prototyping of all our products.
It's my first convention ever. I've never been a vendor at a convention before. I've been attending MaskFest for a lot of years, but I was still very early stages with making masks, so everybody here has been really encouraging over the years and really supportive and giving feedback. So I finally made it. I got a table. I got a bunch of masks I made this year, and I sold my first one last night. So I'm very happy about that.
These ones are. Tell me about some of these designs and what inspired you.
Yeah, so this is whale fall. I learned that when a whale dies and its carcass sinks to the bottom, it sustains whole ecosystems of life for decades, and that phenomena is called whale fall. So this is my version of whale fall. He's got sort of different sea life coming out. So we've got the deep sea edition, which also has a little bit of glow to it. So this is the King in Yellow, my version of him, and he's wearing this pallid mask to sort of hide who he is. Then I have a Splicer from the Bioshock game. Lemon Grab from Adventure Time, he sold first.
Well, it's true for myself.
So this, you're saying this one won Toy of the Year?
Toy of the Year in 2017. And it led to a lot of work. I've been working in the toy industry for a very long time, like 40 years. I worked at Hasbro and American Greetings and stuff, but now I'm totally self-employed. Got to do this like in 2017. It won Toy of the Year, and that just led to me getting all kinds of jobs. Now I'm working for companies in Japan and China and in Mondo. I do a lot of vinyl toys for Mondo. And those are all 3D prints that are done from a scan of the toy, which is that big, enlarge it in ZBrush, and then I did a little bit more detail in it because, of course, taking something that's that small and blowing it up, you want to amp up the detail. I started as an illustrator, and then started to sculpt some of my prototypes for the toys that I was designing, and I was using waxes for a long time because a lot of the old school toy designers and sculptors would use a type of wax. There was Castelline was another material, but then I discovered Super Sculpey, which is kind of a craft clay. And so this guy was sculpted totally in Super Sculpey I'd say I did him probably about 10 years ago. And he won Toy of the Year, was one of my most popular toys. And then all my toys were done in Super Sculpey, but just in the last couple of years, I learned ZBrush, which is a digital sculpting program, and I've taken this sculpture into ZBrush, and I did these guys where I took the sculpture, kind of added details in ZBrush and stuff, but now almost every sculpture I do is in ZBrush now, so I'm kind of all about dry brush. I do some limited airbrush from time to time, but yeah, these are all dry brushed. I've gotten to the point where I've been doing it so long that I can kind of get almost an airbrush effect to it, but just by fluttering the brush right above the detail, it helps really enhance the detail. Where the dry brush, I think sometimes will kind of washes it out. And I mean, you can do washes and rubs and stuff like that, and sometimes bring out the detail. But I found the dry brush.
You see some
Check this out. So this is a 6-level dungeon that's also like a skull, basically. There's level 6, 5. This is a half and half, so the bottom portion was physically sculpted in clay, and I didn't like the head, so I did a digital sculpt. So this is a digital sculpt. So this guy's called the Hierophant. This one was digital, yeah, and then molded and then cast.
This is our first MaskFest. It's our first time ever vending at a convention as well. So we're very excited and we're having a great time. So.
Well, you have a lot of masks for your first year.
Yeah.
Not first year making masks.
Not first year making masks,
vending.
but first time, like I said, vending. But
How long have you been making masks?
I've been making masks for about 10 years now. Yep, so we like the Michael Myers stuff, Frankenstein, and The Exorcist, and The Shining, and all this good stuff.
It's always a little bit nerve-wracking, like bringing all new sculpts to a show just to be like, I have no idea whether people will like these or not, but here it is. It's kind of like my homage to like the 1980s practical effect werewolves. It's, kind of like the Howling, Silver Bullet, stuff like that. Didn't want it to look exactly like those that you see on screen, just kind of like my original concept werewolf, if I were doing a werewolf movie in the 80s of what it could have looked like.
Gunther from the Funhouse, he was an absolute blast to make. Sometimes when I'm doing these, it doesn't turn out well, so I'll have to take like a week off to come back with a fresh pair of eyes and then totally redo everything. This guy was a fun one. He was just something that came to mind.
I kind of do it as like a paper mache process. So I use pieces of fabric and lay it over a sculpt, and then once it dries, you peel it off, and then everything's hand painted, hand stitched, hand finished.
What was the last one you finished right before the show?
The Witch. No two are ever exactly alike, so maybe the most challenging part would be if someone wanted two that were very similar. That's very difficult. I use a lot of like recycled and found materials that I don't necessarily have access to all the time. So.
What have you been working on this year?
So I have a couple new pieces. So like this Adonis is new. I have a new paint job on the Mantis.
This one's the
Adonis. Yep. And then I have a new 3D printed piece down here, the Hibachi Maestro. So sometimes I just like read or see in magazines or movies or whatever weird thing comes out in my head, I just run with it pretty much. I like to sketch out in clay mostly and then kind of see what things I see.
I was a little kid. I'd watch the old movies on I think it was Creature Features on Saturday. I love the monsters and stuff. Distortions Unlimited. Ed and Marcia were by here a little bit ago, and I got a chance to talk to them. Always a pleasure. Just it's like a core memory. The ads in Fangoria, just all the creatures. It's wonderful. I try to incorporate, a few. Really cool. In the past, he's had more of a gray finish, so I tried blue. I try to mix it up, and I love that. It's a solid community. It's very tight, tight knit, and they're helpful. And as far as resources go, there's always there's like several walking encyclopedias of the who, what, where in mask history. So there's a lot of good resources. And it's overall, it's just MaskFest is a great show to go to. It's enjoyable. All other shows feel like work. This is like a reunion of sorts. So.
Yeah, not too shabby. It's still got a handful of stuff. I have to try. So do you guys work there?
because it's got, you know, with masks and stuff like that, that's the whole point. You know, you want to grab people's attention, strong character, strong anatomy, and then, you know, also a really great paint job. When you combine that with a great sculpt and they're married, then you get a great character and a great strong representation, and that really draws people in. Well, anatomy was the hard thing to learn and get good at, because that's a practice of years and decades, right? Like, it's not anatomy is not something that just easily comes to you and you just know it, right? You know, you gotta learn how to give wrinkles compression, how to make things look right, how to make things look convincing. So like, that's a whole study in itself, and it's a study that's forever. It's never something you master, right? So then it's like, you know, after that, it's now becomes like, you know, training your imagination to think out of the box, how to grow your imagination by getting better with each one you do over time. So what people don't tend to realize is it's not something you're great at right off the bat. It's something that you have in you, but then you have to develop over a period of time, and you reach these points, like, you know, it's like if it's a chart, it's, you know, kind of gradually going like that as you get better and better.
You know what? We get kind of all different kinds of people with our stuff. We get everything from haunts to, you know, attractions, collectors, and just people that are into spooky stuff and want to have fun. So, yeah, I'm more of a guy. I really don't sketch stuff out. I like to just jump right into clay and see what comes out. So I may kind of think of an idea of maybe what I want to do, but yeah, I like to create with hands.
Wasn't sure I was going to be able to pull it off, but we managed to get her to go. But urethane skins, we got a fiberglass shell here for the body. The hair was a work of magic, and I'm really glad that worked out. But yeah, we got the bride. We're letting them go. Classic Universal movies. I'm a sucker for them. I love all of them. Like movies like The Black Cat, of course the original Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, Pit and the Pendulum, all the old Universal stuff is a huge inspiration for me. So
I'm very happy with how it came out. I'm really, it's like my little gang of monsters, like the monster crew, if I want to call it something like that.
Had you ever attended MaskFest before?
This is my first time vendor. A little nervous, you know, being up with some of the bigger professionals, but everybody here has been so kind and just so, like, you know, just fruitful with like advice and tips and everything, you know, and seeing distortions here. You know, I will say, in my garage at home, I have a picture of Ed in the 80s, like sitting behind his rows of masks, and I just, like, whenever I need like a little bit of motivation, I just look over at my motivation wall, and one of the pictures is just Ed sitting there, and I'm like, you know what, I want to be just like Ed when I grow up, you know, making monsters and stuff like that. So, you know, I can't wait to go home and just like make more stuff for next year, because I definitely want to see myself coming back, you know, and doing another show. It's like, these are my people. It's like a little monster making family. It really is just such a wonderful thing, and everybody here has just been so cool. So it's been so good so far.
Everybody's pretty welcoming, right?
Yes, very, very welcoming. It's just, it really is such a difference to like talk to people online and see their work and meet them in person. It's just, it's really is a surreal thing, you know, because some of my idols are here, you know, displaying their work, and it's just like so cool, and it's like a full circle moment to be here, you know, with masks inspired from the people who were making them in the first place. You know, it's just really great. It really is a wonderful thing.
like you figured out what the most popular item.
I knew, so I got these done. This is the original colorway. And then I just switched over to doing stoneware, so these are all a harder, higher fire clay.
Do you have a kiln, or do you take it?
I have a kiln, so yeah, I do all the firing and glazing and everything at my home studio. Work all day, at VFX, making monsters, airbrushing latex all day, and I go home and airbrush ceramics. Spots on here like his eyes, his bolts, his stitches, all hand glaze. 13 different pieces on it, and I have to do 2 to 3 coats on each one. So I'm literally doing on one piece 26 plus, little hand-painted things on every single little one of these.
I sat down and tried to stand back up. My legs are all of them.
The sculpts I use super sculpting. In fact, hold on, let me show you something. I sculpt with super sculpting and then I make a silicone mold of that. So that's a work in progress. He meets the female basket.
I get them. That's 2 or 3. I get them. One guy.
How did you learn? Was it experimentation?
Stan Winston School of Character Arts online. So I just signed up, and in my free time, instead of binge watching TV shows during COVID and lockdowns, I just learned. So yeah.
It's annoying for us, but like Smooth On gets it. What do you see?
He's trying to pull a sales pitch on me.
What? I'm giving you the deal of a lifetime, buddy! What? Don't act like I'm strong-arming you. I'm giving you a silver platter!
Let me think about it.
All right.
So were you affected by that magazine as well?
I own multiple copies.